Why hello there, ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? And today, most importantly, we're going to look at a different prehistoric creature. And it is a most impressive prehistoric animal. It's a gigantic reptilian snake by the name of Titanoboa, or to be scientifically accurate, although my pronunciation might be a bit off today, Titanoboa senogenis, based on the rock formation in which it was found. Hope overall you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy some of the lovely facts and information which I provided for you on this titanic beast of a snake. Well, Titanoboa, ladies and gentlemen, lived around 60 to 58 million years ago, in a period known as the Paleocene, a 10 million year period that occurred after the dinosaurs' extinction in the Cretaceous period. Titanoboa would have made its habitat in the tropical swamps of South America, very similar to modern day boa constrictors, such as the green anaconda for a good example. The upper estimate of Titanoboa lengthwise comes in at a massive 13 metres long, or about 42 feet long, to put it in a different measurement. This was indeed a most gigantic snake, and you would not want to come anywhere near this thing. In terms of weight though, Titanoboa had a mass of about 1 tonne or 1,000 kilograms. This is made all the more impressive though, considering that the largest snake alive today is the green anaconda in terms of body mass, which has an average weight of 227 kilograms, meaning that Titanoboa weighs about as much as the largest snake alive today. Dietary wise, as you might expect, Titanoboa was carnivorous and would have been a top predator within its ecosystem in the Paleocene. In terms of discovery, ladies and gentlemen, Titanoboa was only discovered fairly recently by scientists. It was discovered within the Cerrejón Formation in La Guajira, Colombia, with remains being found by vertebrate paleontologist Jonathan Brocht and paleontologist Carlos Jaramillo, who is based from the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute in Panama. I think this is a nice little image, ladies and gentlemen. Shows a little fishy fish just about to get devoured by a quite happy crocodile getting its num-nums. And I think it shows the Titanoboa lurking in the background, wondering what's going on. A lot of people may actually wonder, what did Titanoboa actually feed upon? Well, the answer, to put it quite bluntly, is just about anything it could actually get hold of within the area. 3 metre long lungfish remains have been found within the area, and these could have possibly easily been on the menu for an animal such as Titanoboa. Smaller snake species, and most definitely birds and mammal species within the region would have been on the menu. Mammal and bird species generally would have not been that large at the time, because it was only short 10 million years after dinosaurs, so they would have not have probably not the length of time to evolve to a sufficient size, but I might be wrong in saying that. I'm pretty sure it's afterwards mammals and birds started getting much larger. And snakes generally don't have a problem with cannibalism, so any smaller snakes that come across Titanoboa were generally screwed. Perhaps something I find a little bit terrifying but amusing at the same time is that the most probably difficult source of prey for Titanoboa to actually consume would have been turtles. You think, why turtles? Well, turtles back in the Paleocene would have been much, much larger than modern turtles today. And the sheer diameter and size of the shell of these prehistoric turtles would have made it really difficult for Titanoboa to actually get a hold of and constrict sufficiently to actually be able to wear it down. So that's the amusing little part. The terrifying part, ladies and gentlemen, is that Titanoboa's most preferred and actually probably most commonly killed source of prey are crocodiles. I think crocodiles today are pretty terrifying and amazing in their own right, and some species such as saltwater crocodile and the Nile crocodile are huge. But when you go back to prehistoric times, you had much larger crocodile species. They generally were larger as a whole. So imagine a snake eating crocodiles. And then you have a pretty scary image of what Titanoboa was actually capable of. Here's some nice squeezy facts for you, ladies and gentlemen, which hopefully you can swallow up all the information whole and enjoy. Alright, until Titanoboa was actually discovered, Gigantophis was the largest known snake species, being up to 33 long in length. So this was huge as a large snake species it was until Titanoboa appeared and stole the limelight from this impressive snake. At its most thickest anatomical point, Titanoboa had a diameter of up to 3 metres, meaning that it would have been given this animal an incredible amount of power and force in which to constrict poor helpless prey with, as you're seeing on the right, or in the little image I have displayed for you. But quite amusing for me still is, as large and terrifying as Titanoboa was, it was still a shrimp and a bit of a bitch compared to most dinosaurs and prehistoric species that would have been found from the Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous period. There's still actually much debate, ladies and gentlemen, on the feeding method of Titanoboa. Did it resemble its namesake and actually use constriction as its preferred killing method? I think this is actually more likely, as it has a 3 metre at its thickest point diameter, so it would have been able to employ a huge amount of force to any poor unsuspecting prey that fell within its grasp. The other little theory is that Titanoboa actually hunted similar to modern crocodilians and would have perhaps used ambush and surprise as its preferred hunting method, and attempting to target prey victims' windpipe, or once it had actually got hold of the prey victim, would attempting to drown the prey within the water, which would have made sense as it would have prevented a lot of energy being used up through the actual constriction. Well, this is certainly an interesting but rather terrifying image that puts everything into perspective really in terms of size if you have trouble getting your head around it. The vertebrate we have from the right belongs to the green anaconda, which is currently the world's largest snake in terms of overall body mass and length and weight when it's all combined. Where the vertebrate on the left belongs to our beautiful Titanoboa. So yeah, just let that sink in, the sheer size difference. Well, overall, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this little video with Titanoboa being the star attraction today. It certainly would have been a sight to behold if anyone had like a TARDIS or time machine and can go back and see this huge snake hunting within the Paleocene period. But I certainly would have kept my distance from a snake of this size, because it would have made if it's hunting crocodiles, a human is literally going to be nothing to it. It might not even bothered hunting humans, because we would have not even represented much of a meal to it. But thinking of huge animals, Titanoboa was impressive and huge, yes, and it would dwarf any known living snakes today. But some some green anaconda specimens, well, even 100 years ago, like proposed sightings and stuff like this, have been recorded as absolutely huge. We still find crocodilian species that are abnormally large. But it's not really that abnormally large, it's just that they've lived a long time and had a sufficient diet and perhaps been the top predator within their ecosystem. There's a great white shark that I think was the largest recorded on in a documentary by the name of Deep Blue. I think that's about 25 foot long. It might be slightly less or longer than that. But we're seeing less and less animals of these huge gigantic proportions due to the fact we're eliminating their food sources. Whenever we actually hear about a huge animal, we're hunting and killing it because we're terrified of the thing. And also we're destroying habitat, so animals haven't got the space to grow so large and impressive anymore. As always, ladies and gents, feel free to comment and like the video or dislike it depending on your choice. And join the Raptor Pack today by subscribing, but as always, have a wonderful day and stay safe.